It's Beer O'Clock, and it's the Beer O'Clock show, where every week we take a selected beer, drink it, and talk about it. My name is Mark, and joining me, only a few days after running a marathon on the Bermondsey Beer Mile, is my beer mentor, Steve. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Now, finally recovered from the weekend.
Very good. Also joining us to discuss this week's beer, because they're the blokes that made it, are some special guests. But before we get to that part of the show, Stephen.
Mark.
Why don't you tell us about what you got up to on Saturday?
I can maybe tell you about a little bit of what I got up to on Saturday, and then there was a point where it all became a blur. I did the Bermondsey Beer Mile with a few people, and it's a good few people actually. I think there was 10 of us in the end that turned up to do it. Number one fan came down from Scotland,
which is why he's the number one fan. Connor came down from Manchester. Number two.
And just trying to name check everyone: Chris Hall, Matt Curtis, David Martin, Andy Parker, Ruth, don't know her surname, but she's on Twitter as Beer Fairy, Audrey, Peter. There was a whole crowd of us did the Bermondsey Beer Mile, and it was a great day, a really good day out. Highly recommend it to anybody that wants to do it. We started off at Brew by Numbers, and then we just, which is in the middle. And then we went from there to the Colonel, to Partisan, to Forpure, and then we finished at Anspach and Hobday, where things went a bit wrong at the end there. The beers weren't very good. They were a little bit murky. We were kind of remonstrating about how bad the beers were outside, and then was approached by a young man who said, "Hi, I'm Mr. Hobday. I understand you don't like my beers," which was a bit of a difficult moment considering we'd had a few. So we hurriedly explained what it was that we didn't like about them, and then headed off. But it's a great day out. I've just put together one of our Storify feeds about the day. So if you want to have a look, at that, you can check that out. It'll be up on the website for people to have a read of.
Is this an organised thing where breweries make themselves open to the public? Because I was thinking it's just here's a mile-long section where breweries happen to be, and you just go along and do it. But is it a special day?
It's not a special day. What it is, it's that the breweries only open on a Saturday. So
Right.
All 5 of the breweries only open their doors on a Saturday. Ranging from the Colonel that starts at 9, they open from 9 till 2. Brew by Numbers opens from 10 till 4, I think it is, and all the others are 12 to 5. So the only day you can do the run is on a Saturday.
Okay, so you could do it on any Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
But by the time we got to the end, Anspach and Hobday was rammed, because that's generally the finishing point that a lot of people go finish up at. So it was a good day out, and like I said, it was a good group of us. And we caught up with Johnny from the Beer Channel, who was on the mile doing some filming as well. So it was a pretty good day out.
Very good, very good, very good. Anything else you want to say apart from insulting brewers that happened on Saturday?
No, I was intrigued to see how your weekend was at Download.
It was good. The beer was shit. Yet again, there's only 1 or 2 tents selling actual decent beer, so I was on cider most of the weekend until I could find the tent with the ale in. And that was Otter Bitter again, and Hobgoblin. And to be honest, I actually preferred the cider they had to all
Fair
that
enough.
in the sun. The hotel we stayed at, they only had... Well, they had Boddingtons. I could have popped my Boddingtons cherry. I had it on draft, but I didn't. So they had Bombardier.
Narrow escape there, mate.
They had Bombardier in bottles, which is basically what I stuck to because it's light enough and inoffensive enough. They had Leffy as well, but I didn't really want to get into the Leffy. It's a little bit too heavy if you just want to be sitting on the beer all night. So, that's basically, I'm looking forward to having a decent beer.
Well, mate, if there was ever a week to have been drinking Bombardier, it was this week, really, wasn't
Exactly,
it?
yeah, I did it all in honour.
Yeah, in honour of the sad passing of the Bombardier himself.
Yeah, Brick Mail.
Yeah.
R.I.P. indeed. Right, mate, you got any news for me?
I have got some news for you this week. Okay, in what I jumped the last bit there. In what I'm now calling a news segment within a news segment, which is becoming our regular news from Brewdog feature. This past week they've opened another new bar. Brewdog Dundee is now open. 18 beers on tap. Opened up in Panmure Street in Dundee, which I'm sure the thousands of listeners that we have from Dundee will know where that is. So I thought it was worth mentioning it. They've also got some more bars planned throughout the summer, most notably being Brighton and Clapham are the next two UK locations where we'll be seeing Brewdogs. So more about that in next week's News from Brewdog feature, no doubt. So that's the Brewdog news, and then just a few other bits. A couple of weeks ago, so this happened while we were having our mid-season break. Clapton Craft, a new craft beer and growler refill shop, has opened up on Lower Clapton Road, E5. So this is basically a bottle shop which has got 8 rotating taps that can fill growlers and plastic bottles using counter pressure technology, keeping beer as fresh as possible. And their website will have a live tap list, so you'll always know what's on. Open 11 till 9 Monday to Saturday, 11 to 8 on a Sunday. And if you can't actually make it to the shop, they will offer free local delivery to anybody in the E5 or the E8 postcode. So
well, these growler filler places are springing up all over the place.
Yes, yeah, it seems to be the big thing this year. So more information about that, claptoncraft.co.uk. Then another one, because there's the world's greatest sports tournament happening in a few days' time. Not the one that's going on as we speak, but the one that's starting soon. No, not Wimbledon either. The Tour de France is coming to the UK. For people that don't already know this, it's starting in Yorkshire, and it would appear that Yorkshire breweries have gone a little bit Tour de France mental. Got this article from Inside Beer, Jeff Evans' website, insidebeer.com. The current list stands at 35 beers that have been produced in honour of the Tour de France. It's just a ridiculous list, and some of the names are just embarrassingly bad. But have a look on InsideBeer.com. You have to search back probably a couple of weeks to an article. The article's called "Yorkshire's Brewers Gear Up for the Tour de France." But just have a look at the list that's on there, because it's just it's brilliant that they've really got the excitement about it, but I'd love to hear from anybody that's actually tried all 35 beers as well. And then the final piece of news, just thought we'd re-mention this week. The Waitrose Thornbridge Great British Homebrew Challenge is still open at the moment, and beer entries need to be submitted by 31st of July. So I think anybody thinking about submitting a beer should be brewing it. Should have either already brewed it or be brewing it this weekend. But for more details about that, gbhomebrew.co.uk.
And now for the main part of the show, we've got Peter and Paul from the Hillside Brewery here to talk about their beer of the night, which is a Belgian-style beer called Jolly Jester, which is 9% ABV, which, as everyone knows, will do me no harm whatsoever. Peter, Paul, welcome to the show. It's very good to have you.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you very much.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about Hillside, how you got started and the history of it and everything like that, just to get us going?
Well, we probably started about 6 months ago, really new. We first found the brewery. It's on a fantastic location in Longhope. Great scenic views, set in fantastic old stone barns, which we've renovated. One of the reasons we fell in love with the site was it's got a borehole, which gives it really consistent mineral-rich water. And yeah, we just fell in love with the site, got a real passion for beer and drinking, and yeah, it's just taken off from there.
Okay, and what's both of your history in brewing?
Well, if you go back into my ancient history, my first job, because it is ancient history for us old ones. My first job was working for a company that did all the equipment from cask up to the pumps, and so Friday afternoon was always testing afternoon, testing all the equipment. Well, that's what we called it. But yeah, I've retained an interest in it since then. I've done a variety of different jobs, but retained an interest in it since then. But Paul's in charge of market research.
So I've always been very passionate about drinking beer, and it was only really when I started the brewery we went up to Sunderland to Brew Lab, and we went on one of their intensive courses, learned about brewing, and then pretty much hit the ground running from there, and learnt on the job. Our master brewer's got over 14 years experience, so his knowledge is phenomenal, and we're just learning a little bit extra every day, really.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. We've been able to build a really good team of people who are very passionate about beer and really enjoy making good beer that they would drink themselves. That's always the acid test.
Cool. Well, why don't we get started on this Jolly Jester? And I'm sure we'll have plenty of questions to go as we drink through it.
Okay.
So this has been brewed with a new English hop.
Ooh.
I understand.
Yeah. It's a brand new British hop called Jester. It's actually grown by one of our next door neighbours, Mark Andrews, who's one of the best hop growers around in the UK. He's been developing some new hop varieties with Charles Fareham. His dad grew hops, his dad's dad grew hops, and so yeah, they've been doing it forever basically at Townend Farm just down the road in Bosbury. And we met up with him for a drink, and he said about these new hops he'd been doing, and from that we thought we'd showcase this new beer.
Cool.
Okay, and it's a Belgian style beer.
Yeah.
What's made you go for the Belgian style, and what is it that gives it the Belgian style?
Well, we really thought, as it was we wanted to single hop it, so we thought as there's only a limited amount we can get, we'll really do a big beer with it. So we thought, as we hadn't tried a Belgian style beer before, a bit ballsy, but we thought we'll give it a go. So from that came 9% to fit in with the kind of Belgian style beers. And yeah, it just came out of that really. And look forward to hearing what you think of it.
Well, I can get the 9% on the nose straight away. It smells like a boozy beer.
Yeah.
It's a lovely thick, dark brown, sort of almost dark orangey colour to it as well.
We wanted to try and do the hop justice because we're pretty excited about some of the new English hops that are coming. You've seen this new logo that's coming on beers that are brewed with English hops, and we want to really support a lot of local produce. And these hops are grown. We can tell, which field and which farm these hops come from, and we wanted to do something special with this first crop of this new hop. And there's a number of exciting new English hops coming along that we really want to sort of specialise in and really focus on backing British. Really, we're not ignoring the rest of the world, but it's really good that we've got some really good English hops coming along, and we want to sort of shout about that a bit.
I mean, a lot of the hop scene at the moment is dominated by American hops, such as Citra. A lot of the beers that are taken off at the moment are massively dominated by your citrus fruits, your grapefruit flavours. And it's really good to see some British hops that are coming up with punchy flavours that can actually compete with that, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. And I have to say that your labels are beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
They're really well put together. But anyway, never mind what the bottle looks like. Let's get to what's inside.
Let's get into it.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's almost a syrupiness to it that you're getting straight away. It's finishing with a nice hint of caramel in there as well. Really, really smooth as well for 9%.
And that's one of the things you want to focus on. Although it's 9% and it is quite full of flavour, we want it to be nicely balanced between the hops, the alcohol, the body, the flavour, and it is, especially for a 9%, a very drinkable beer.
It's not to a word that we use quite frequently on the show is Belgian-y, because neither, it's probably fair to say neither Mark or I are a massive fan of Belgian sort of style beers, which made it quite a departure to decide to review one on tonight's show. But you don't get that sort of big banana-y sort of cloviness come through that you would normally expect from a Belgian ale. It's a lot more balanced. It's a lot more subtle. The flavours are there, but they're in the background, and I think it's the single hop, in this case the Jester, that's doing all of the work.
Yeah,
it's really. I'm finding the hop flavours are actually quite gentle on this. You get the strength from the ABV is definitely there. Has that really, like you were saying, Steve, that caramelly booziness is right there in your face. But the hoppiness, you get the nice bitter finish, but it's not over the top. It's actually quite gentle.
For me, this is almost, I'd say, from my own personal point of view, it's more barley wine style than it is Belgian style. It's got that lovely thickness that you associate with a barley wine. The carbonation's very light. It's very well balanced. It's very smooth, and it's just a really enjoyable beer to drink. Oh, excuse me. Having said that about the carbonation, the gas is getting me. Now, this is from your craft specials range of beers. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about the full range of beers? Because I thank you for sending us your entire range of beers with some fantastic glassware as well. We really appreciated that.
You're
both
welcome.
of us are steadily working our way through the beers to see what
I
they
think
taste
I still
like.
need to get some of those bottles from you, don't I, Steve?
You do, yes. Maybe.
Someone's
It's a
hogging
tough
them.
job.
Well, yeah.
I was thinking it's really nice of you guys to send us 3 of your beers, but apparently you sent them to our brewery.
No, the entire range. They're here. They're all wrapped up and ready to be.
He's
muled
been
into
busted
London.
there, hasn't he, Dad? He's been busted.
Yeah. So yeah, tell us about the entire range, guys.
So basically, what we've done is we kind of want to cater for both markets. The way we see it is that we really like the traditional styles of beer. So we've got our classic collection. In that, we've got a lovely 4.7% English IPA. It's got a lovely subtle honey notes to it with a strong hop finish. We've got a 3.8% pale ale. It's a lovely, fruity, great session beer in the summer with a barbecue. You'd grab a Pinnacle. Then, like you mentioned earlier, the Legless Cow, 4.2% best bitter, which has kind of caramel notes to it and a slight citrus hop finish to it. And we've got a dark mild as well. You don't see that many dark milds these days, and quite a lot of people have commented on that. They see our mild, they taste it, the chocolatey, roasted flavours to it, and they love it. So with our classic collection, we want the traditional styles of beers. We've also just bought our porter as well to see how well that sells, and that's called Seven Surge. It's 5.4%. It uses 7 different types of malted barley. We've got oats, we've got wheat in there, and it's got a really, really complex flavour. Really good beer. But then we've got our craft specials, such as the Jolly Jester we've got here tonight, where we want to do completely different styles, a little bit off the wall, where we can challenge people's perceptions of what can be achieved with beer. So the first one we did was just because we all enjoyed American IPAs, we did a heavily hopped 7% American IPA. And it's a bit like a slap in the face with flavour from citrus and tropical fruits. Almost like sherbet lemon, or it's really good. and then the Jolly Jester is the second one we brought out. So yeah, we thought we'd try a strong Belgian-style beer. We'd give it a go.
I really enjoyed the Centurion. I feel like I'm saying this every week now, but I go on record. I'm a massive hophead. I love to be absolutely smashed in the face with citrus hops, and for me the Centurion was just I think I described it on Untapped as it was like drinking a lemon tart. It was just beautiful. It was so refreshing, and the aroma and the flavour of lemon just came right through it, and it had this lovely dry finish to it as well, which was just perfect.
Yeah,
that's the Centurion, is it?
That's the Centurion.
I know what I'm having after this.
That's one of the ones I have given you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only missing about 7.
Yeah. On a brew day with Centurion, when we're having our lunch, sitting out on the patio, looking over the hill there, it's the smells coming out of the brewery are absolutely amazing. It's that is a really great brew to be doing. Yeah, it's fabulous.
I can imagine, actually, and you seem to have that. There seems to be that sort of flavour of a hint of lemon seems to run through all of your beers. I seem to have picked it up. Certainly the ones that I've tried, I've always found that there's just this hint of lemon in them. Whether it be that it's been balanced with something that's more earthy, or something that's more malty, something that gives it more of a biscuit flavour. There's always that hint of lemon, and it's almost, I'm not sure if that's intended, if that's what you want your signature to be, but it's certainly very enjoyable throughout your beers.
Oh, that's good to hear. One of the things we've done with our master breweries, we've been working for 8 months on all these recipes. We've got a small little mini brewery, a nano brewery that we do all our test brews on, and actually people come up and brew their own beer at the brewery as well. But the joy of actually experimenting with all these different flavours, and obviously what we wanted to do was to get a really nice, full of flavour, consistent range out that we felt happy with, and that's taken us 8 months to get to that point. And now, what I'm glad to hear you're enjoying as a result of that, and we're really proud of the beers that we make now, and they're all handmade on the farm from start to finish, and that's what we are. We're a small artisan brewery that really focuses on trying to have big brewery production facilities, but in a small brewery where everything's done handmade.
And not just they're not just available in bottles. Are you doing cask versions of the beers as well?
Yeah, we do cask, we do bottles, we do polypins upon request. We're fairly flexible in that respect.
And where are you finding that your beers are going at the moment? Are the cask products just predominantly to the local area, or are you getting orders from around the country?
We find at the moment the majority of our cask sales are local. Everything that we bottle, pretty much as soon as it's bottled, is already sold. It's been the majority of our sales are bottle sales. Pretty much as soon as it's bottled, it's good to go. And
we've got a very good local following already, which we're very pleased about. And obviously we want to make sure we look after those customers. So that's encouraging, the response we've had from them as well, isn't it? And we do quite a few testing evenings up at the brewery where we invite people. As we were developing these recipes, we didn't just do it in isolation. We invited groups to come up, and when you've got people sat right in front of you giving you direct feedback about whether they like it or not, that is, that's a really good, honest way to develop beer. And we've had a number of the local camera groups up as well in terms of trying to make sure that we're making a product that people are going to enjoy. So that's been a key part of what we've been doing.
And as I found myself at the weekend, it's always good to give the brewer feedback directly to their face, whether they're standing behind you or not. Anyway, less said about that, the better. And So this particular beer that we're drinking tonight, this has also been made into an ice cream locally as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So there's a local lady. She got in contact with me over Twitter, and she mentioned how she makes ice cream, and she's interested in a high strength beer. And she directly messaged me and said, "I am really interested in using a beer. What's the highest strength you've got?" I said, "Oh, well, it's 9%." She said, "Perfect." And so she doesn't boil off the alcohol. So if you do eat enough of this ice cream, you probably could get a bit of salt. She uses full cream, and it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, she's the Hillbrooks is the company.
Hillbrooks ice cream, yeah. Hillbrooks luxury ice cream, and it's like a lovely creamy flavour, and then it kind of finishes, and you get the lasting taste of the beer. So you get the banana, the kind of like spiciness, the tropical flavours. It's just, I mean, she's even said that she's done beer ice cream for the past 4 years with a different beer each year, and this is by far the best beer ice cream she's made. I think
she was back in for some more beer this week, wasn't she? Because it's selling so well at the moment that yeah, she's having to step up production on the ice cream.
We've just ordered some more. You guys will have to come over and have an ice cream and some beers.
I was just wondering if there was a way in which we could transport a ton of ice cream to London without it melting, but I don't see that's going to happen, really, is it?
That was just making me think of when you get a really good rum and raisin ice cream and you end up feeling like you're going to be swaying after eating some. So yeah, my mouth's watering. I want some ice cream now. Yeah. Steve, get on it, mate.
I have tried. I've tried beer ice cream once. I tried. Adnams did a batch of ice cream made with Broadside a couple of years ago, and I tried it, and I really didn't enjoy it. I really didn't enjoy the flavour of the beer in the ice cream. But I don't know whether in that instance whether they just took essentially what you were just saying there. Maybe they boiled the alcohol off it and just went for the flavour rather than the full beer profile in the ice cream.
Well, yeah, well, you go. Sorry.
So I was just going to say, Johnny from the Beer Channel, they did some videos on beer floats that we could quite easily do as an experiment. Stephen.
You know what happens when you give me ideas.
But I think it's like, it's like when you cook with beer, isn't it? You know, everyone talks about steak and ale pie and beer this and beer the other. But actually, you have to be quite careful which beer you actually cook with, because if you use the wrong beer, it can leave quite a bitter aftertaste.
Yeah.
And so, I guess it's like the same with the ice cream. One of the advantages, because this is, as you've said, quite a creamy beer, it goes very well with the ice cream. And I suppose we would say this, wouldn't we? But it is. It's not our ice cream; it's Hillbrooks, but it is a very good ice cream, and we've been selling it at the brewery as well. And that's been going very well.
Well, she said that a lot of the time you lose the flavour of the beer if it's a low ABV. So that's one of the reasons she chose our beer, is because it's 9% and it's jam-packed full of the flavour. So it really helps enhance the flavour of the ice cream.
Yeah,
I can actually see how the flavours of that beer would work in an ice cream. I think it's like Mark just mentioned there. It's like when you do get that really good rum and raisin, you get all the flavours coming through, and I could just see the flavours of this beer really featuring in a really good quality ice cream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, let's get ourselves to Gloucestershire.
Yes. Yeah.
One of the things we should say that she gave us the advice if anyone does manage to get the ice cream, and there are a number of local outlets that are now selling the ice cream. But what she was saying was if you're having the ice cream, it's really good, like if you're changing beers, to clean your palate before you have the ice cream. So if you've been drinking beer before, just either have a sip of water or a bit of sorbet or something, just to cleanse your palate, to actually get the full taste of the ice cream. So that's just a little tip she gave us when we were sampling the ice cream.
Okay, so what's next for you guys? What else do you have in the pipeline for the rest of this year?
Well, we've got a few more craft specials coming. One of them is going to be tomorrow, being brewed on the Nano Brewery. See how that goes. Funny you mentioned the hint of lemon in there. There may be a little bit of lemon in there, and something else.
Yeah.
So look forward to that one. Well, do you want to?
Yeah, what we're doing is we're pushing on with the production of the classic range to make sure we can keep up with customer demand on that. Particularly at the moment, the legless cow and the pinnacle are going particularly well. We're really pleased with that. We had.
It doesn't surprise me.
No.
So I've tried those two, and they're for the low ABV that they are. They're beers that they're proper session beers, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And one of the things where we are, I mean, to be quite honest, the mild was something that Paul and I cogitated on for a long time and wondered whether to put it in the range. And because it's a low ABV beer, you'll know it's very difficult to brew a low ABV beer with some body to it. So we worked very hard with the master brewer on developing a recipe, and we've particularly modified the way we do mashing in terms of the temperature we do it at, the time we do it for, and the way it goes through the mashing process that allows us to bring more body into what is still a low ABV beer. And that has worked really well, and we put that into the range, and that has gone very well. We find particularly a lot of people from the Midlands who have been used to drinking over time, milds of old who can't get them now. They're a very big market for us, and that. Okay, we're in the summer now, so maybe the mild drinkers aren't quite drinking as much, but it's still selling very well. And we got a lot of demand through the winter, so we're looking at stepping up production for that, heading towards the autumn again this year, ready for the demand over the winter. And then, as Paul said, with the craft specials, we've got one new one bit going through the Nano Brewery tomorrow, but we've got another couple of ideas that we're thinking through that we're looking at bringing into production late autumn. But we're going to be working over the summer with the friends of Hillside Brewery and the people who come up to the brewery and do test days with us to developing those recipes. And to be honest, that's one of the key reasons Paul and I are in it. We enjoy making beer, but we're in business to have a bit of fun as well, and we want people to come up to the brewery and just enjoy themselves. And we have some really good evenings. So at the end of the day, over this 8 months, a lot of those recipes we've put by the wayside. But hopefully, then we've picked the few that will make the difference, and we're still working through some more over the summer. So that's our primary focus over the next few months.
And if people aren't in your area and able to readily get hold of your beers, where can people buy the bottled stuff from at the moment? I know you said it's in short demand because it's selling out, but where are your stockists?
I mean, mainly in the local areas, but if people would like to get hold of our beers, our online store is probably going to be launched at the end of this month, start of next month. So just direct from us. And like I think Dad touched on before, the Friends of Hillside, you can basically buy into a membership of the brewery and it'll get you 10% off any of the sales direct from us. So entitles you to a night to come to the brewery and all the rest of it. So
yeah,
you soon make your money back.
Mm-hmm. And where do people find out information about that? Have you got a website?
Yeah. Yep. Hillsidebrewery.com.
Okay.
In terms of updates, keeping up to date with what we're doing at Hillside on Twitter, Hillside Brewery on Facebook. That's probably the best thing.
Excellent. Well, my beer's finished.
Mine too.
Unfortunately.
Finished mine some time ago.
Yeah, so for a 9% beer, it evaporated rather quickly.
Yeah,
it's probably one that I would have wanted to have taken longer over. But you take one for the team when you're doing a podcast and having to review a beer in 20 minutes.
It's a really tight little beer. You got really condensed flavours. You've got the nice booziness to it, the really gentle hops coming through, the gentle bitterness, that really thick malty caramel biscuit. Oh, it's gorgeous, lovely.
Thank you very much. I mean, it was really important to us to really, as we said earlier on, just to showcase as a single hop beer this brand new hop and do it justice. So, I mean, the guys that actually grew the hops, I went down to the farm last week, delivering some beer down there for them, and they're really excited about it as well, which is great. You know, it's good to be backing a really good UK product.
Mm-hmm. Just about the hop, because I was reading earlier there. I think is it more have used it before in a beer that they tried last year, but there was only a limited quantity amount of it. Is it now at a point where enough of it is being grown for us to start seeing it being used more, or are we still going to see it in limited quantities?
No, it's. I mean, there's still a very limited amount that's going to be there. It depends on the harvest. We managed to get our hands on 15 kilograms of it this year. Generally speaking, to get a really good harvest, it takes about 5 years to work up to get a decent amount to supply. But next year, depending on the harvest, there should be a lot more. So, I mean, we've probably got about 2 more brews that we can do, 4 batches of this Belgian Jolly Jester. But then after that, it's until next year, and depending on the harvest. So we'll have to see.
So keep your eyes open for this one, then, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's more. There's more to come. I mean, we did sadly lose the sort of British hop research, but some of the guys that were involved in that are still working on a consultancy basis with some of the farmers to develop these new strains, and there's a whole host of new British hops coming down the tracks, and we're just really excited about that. It's really good that British farmers, British wholesalers, British beers are sort of showcased in this. So that's not saying we're turning our back on the rest of the world, but it's nice to have something British to shout about as well. That's really good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about time we started fighting back.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, Steve, do you have any final comments on this lovely beer?
It's just really enjoyable. It's left a lovely flavour in my mouth. It was. I would have much preferred to have sipped it and probably taken a little bit longer over it. It's quite thick. You get the flavours, you get the hints of the Belgian flavours coming through, but you've got that strong sort of malty backbone to it. There's and then you just get every now and again you just get the glimpse of the hop coming through in some of the flavours. So I think it's a really really good beer, and I think if you happen across this in a bottle shop or online, don't hesitate to and ah about whether to buy it or not. I'd actually pick a bottle of this up and give it a go.
Indeed, agreed.
Thanks, guys. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for sending us an entire range worth of beer.
No, we only sent the entire range to one of you.
Yeah. So I hear.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to share it with Mark now.
Well, it's all here. It's just it's the logistics of getting it from Essex to London.
Yeah, we can only do kind of cloak and dagger handovers at Liverpool Street Station.
Yeah,
and
4 bottles
it's limited by how many beers Steve can fit in his work bag without drawing attention to himself.
You mentioned stock lists. We've actually been speaking with Seven Cider because they supply some stock lists in London. And they're interested in taking some of our beers down on some of their ferries to London, so you might see it cropping up in shops near you.
Oh, cool.
Marvellous. Fantastic.
Lovely. All right, chaps, thanks very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for your interest.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
We look forward to seeing more about Hillside in years to come.
Brilliant.
I'm sure you'll do very well.
And if you guys want to come down and do a brew with us, you're more than welcome. Have a little craft special.
Oh, we've been trying. We've been playing with that idea for a while, haven't we?
Yeah.
Well, let's make it happen, guys.
Yeah, you'll be very welcome.
Excellent.
Cool.
Watch your space on that one.
Because Adnams and Harvestune haven't bitten. We're giving them as enough hint.
No, Fuller's weren't interested.
No.
You know.
Oh, come down to Hillside.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, you might be able to taste the range then. You wouldn't just get half of it.
Brilliant. No, thank you ever so much for that. Appreciate that, and it's definitely something that we'll look at maybe trying to do at some point soon. It's just we need to coordinate our work diaries a little better because we work in different jobs, so it's always difficult.
Yeah.
Okay. No worries, guys. Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you, and thanks for coming on, and thanks for the beers. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
No worries.
Brilliant.
Cheers,
Nice
guys.
one.
Speak to you soon.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye bye.
All right, Steve, do you have any final bits for us, mate, before we go?
Yes, I'm still banging the Instagram drum.
Has anyone showed you their dobbers yet?
We've had 2 entries in the Show Me Your Dobber competition, both of them from serial competition winner Miles Lambert, who's won from us before. I love both of his entries. The first one he sent was a bottle of a dobber, so a big marble, with what I can only assume is my face drawn on it, sat on top of a bottle of Unhuman Cannonball. And he's called that one Steve's Dobberganger, which I quite like the play on words there. And then there was a second one where he's got 2 bags of hops and a dobber, and he's called them Hops and Dobbers, which I thought was quite good as well. So Miles, I think once again, my friend, I think you've won one of our competitions, and you want to DM us your address again. I should know it by now, but DM us your address, and we'll send you the 2 bottles of Dobber in the post, and you can let us know what you think of that. So congratulations, Miles. And what we'll do is I'll repost those Instagram pictures so people can see them as well.
And aren't you glad he didn't Instagram you a picture of his knob?
I'm glad nobody Instagrammed me a picture of their knob, to be honest. But if you do want to Instagram us, use the hashtag #CheersGuys. Send us your pictures of your beers that are drinking. Again, a great one this week from Ian G, who's at Fantastic Film on Instagram, who sent an amazing picture of a bottle of Halcyon. I think people have realised how they're going to get a mention. It's Halcyon, it's Cannonball, or it's Axe Edge. Those are the 3 things that you're going to get a mention for. In all seriousness, if you do want to send us a picture of any beer you're drinking, use the hashtag #BeerO'Clock or #CheersGuys, or both, and we'll pick them up and we'll give them a mention on the show.
Yeah, Johnny from the Beer Channel tweeted a picture of you sculling a pint of Axe Edge on the weekend.
Yes, that was kind of my finishing pint. I was desperate for something that had a fistful of hops in it, and it was lovely. It was
Who makes Axe Edge?
Buxton.
Ah, cool.
Buxton Brewer. We're hoping to feature it in probably next season. Hoping to feature Axe Edge as a feature.
They're from up north, aren't they, Buxton?
They are, yes.
They're from Buxton.
Yeah.
I'm so good at this game.
You are very good. You are very good. Yes.
Anything else, buddy, before we go?
Just again, another reminder, there's our beer list is on the website with discounts from Hours by Mail, the Beer Boutique, and Honest Brew to get some beers that we've been drinking on this show and others of your choosing from their fine stores.
Yeah, 10% off.
Yes, very good.
You got to go to the beer list and get the coupon code, and 10%. Providing you buy a beer that's on our beer list, you get 10% off the rest of your order. It's great. Very good. Yeah. And we thank those guys for their support, and we thank you for your support. You can find us on Twitter at Beer O'Clock Show. The website is beeroclockshow.co.uk, and you can find us on Instagram at Beer O'Clock Show. Be sure to send us pictures of your beers, bottles, pint glasses, happy smiles afterwards. We don't really care. Just put the hashtag #CheersGuys on your post and we'll find them. Right. That's it.
That's it.
What's coming up next week, buddy?
Next week we are back to our Breweries of London series with Sandbrook's Pump House Pale Ale.
I do like a Sandbrook's beer.
We've had some Sandbrooks in the past, so we're expecting a good one. And there'll be an interview from their head brewer as well, as part of that series that we've been doing around London breweries.
Very, very good. Remember that tonight's beer was Jolly Jester from the Hillside Brewery. They're out of Gloucestershire. You should be able to find it online somewhere, but as they said, their own online shop will be coming online at the end of the month or early July. That's it. Thank you very much, Stephen.
Highlight of my week, mate.
Mine too. Until next time, cheerio.